In this video, we're going to look at one example of graphing a system of inequalities, but in this case, we have three inequalities. So we'll see what that graph looks like and how to figure out what the solution is. So, our first example, y is less than or equal to x plus 1. That's pretty straightforward inequality. It's already in slope-intercept form. So I've got my y-intercept at, let me do blue here, y-intercept at 1, slope of 1 because it's just a positive x there, so I go up 1 and to the right 1. And I want to go throughout my whole graph because I have no idea where my solution is. So it could be in the corner somewhere. Okay, so I went ahead and drew my line. I didn't think about if it should be dashed or solid, so sometimes it's easier to just draw the whole line and then go ahead and erase little chunks to make it look dashed. But it does have less than or equal to, so I know it should be a solid line. And I'm not going to shade in just yet because that might be difficult to graph my other lines. I am going to take a look at it. Since it says y is less than, I need to shade below. Okay, so shade below. So when I get to that point where I need to shade for each of my inequalities, I'm ready to go with that one. So it's going to be down here. Okay, but let me just erase that. All right, so my next one, x plus 2y is greater than negative 2. Now, in the previous video, we talked about how we can graph our x and y intercepts. So we just substitute 0 in for x and for y and pretend it's an equation, then solve for the other variable. So if x was 0, 2y equals negative 2. So y would be negative 1 because we divide both sides by 2 to get negative 1. And then my my x-intercept, if my y value is 0, then it's just x equals negative 2. So there we graph there and there. And we use that rise over run to get the rest of our line. But let's say I want to convert this to slope-intercept. So let me just quick do that. I know that I have to get y by itself. I'm going to subtract x. I get that x term over to the right side. So now I only have the y term on the left side, and I want to put the x term first because I want it in slope-intercept form like my blue inequality. And I'm going to divide by 2, and typically we just divide everything by 2. But we are trying to get a slope and y-intercept, and so in this case I need to divide each term individually by 2. So on the left side I have y. I didn't divide by a negative number, so my inequality stays greater than. I don't have to flip it. Remember, that's only when we multiply or divide by a negative. So now my first term, well, this is going to determine what my slope is. This is really a negative 1x. So I want that fraction kind of by itself in front of the x, so I can clearly see my slope. And then we've got negative 2 divided by 2. So it gives us negative 1. So there's my slope and y-intercept. Well, my y-intercept of negative 1, I already found that. So that matches up. That's good. And then my slope is negative 1/2, which is the same as what I could tell from my intercepts. I'm going down 1 and to the right 2. So negative 1 over 2. So either way works. There's a little more work in putting together the y-intercept form, but that's going to make it easier for me to determine if I shade above or below. We have y is greater than here. Greater than meaning bigger, so I'm going to have to shade above. And it's not or equal to, so I need to have a dashed line. So I prefer to do my dash line this way. Now my last inequality I see is going to be a either horizontal or vertical line. Whenever you only have x or only y, it's going to be horizontal or vertical. So if I think of this as x equals 5, then that means every point on my line, the x value is 5. So I go to my x-axis. Right there is x equals 5. And so I need my line to go right through there, because any point on there, x would be equal to 5. Okay. But it's less than 5, so in that case, I need to shade below, because smaller numbers on our x-axis are to the left. So it's really shade to the left. All right, now I got my 3 inequalities. I see a few different sections of my graph where my solution could be. It could be in here, could be this little piece here, could be here, 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 or here. So I've got some different options here. So let's go ahead and fill in our shading. So my first one, the blue one, shade below. Let me use my highlighter here, that might be easier. Now, obviously this is going to be, this won't be as easy for me to shade below, or shade with a highlighter like I am here. So you're just going to have to use pencil, and then you just kind of darken in anything that's overlapping. So shade below here, and remember that anything on this solid blue line that's touching my shaded region is a solution. Okay. Second inequality in green there, we said before that we have to shade above. I'm shading above here. Okay, so we're starting to kind of narrow down where our overall solution is going to be for all 3 inequalities. Right, so as of right now, it's kind of hard to see because the green kind of covers up the blue. But right now, it's looking like this is where it's overlapping between the blue and the green inequality. Okay, but now we got to consider our last inequality here. So our last one, I don't have red, so we'll do it in purple. We said shade below or to the left. That's going to be all of this here. Okay. Now this gets really messy, right? And this is why it's actually probably better to use pencil, because then you just have different shades of gray here. But we've got, yeah, this is really messy. So I'm gonna back up and kind of restart with just pencil like you would see. Okay. And so blue is below, that's right here. Green is above, so that's right here. And red was to the left, so that's right here. So you kind of want to keep in mind as you're going where you've shaded, if you've got 3 inequalities, because like I said, it gets really messy. But now we notice that all 3 of my shaded regions overlap right in this little triangle here. So I want to darken that. So anything in that shaded region there, or that's touching the blue line next to that shaded region, that's my solution to all 3 inequalities. So find what works for you in terms of graphing your inequalities with the intercepts or slope-intercept form. Make sure to kind of jot down little notes of things you need to do later with shading, and then shade in a way that makes sense to you.